Hi, welcome back to another episode of Guided and Grounded. This is a weekly series where I come forward first with a message from my team of light, my spirit guides, all of the archangels, ascended masters. I invite them forward and I set the intention to relay a message from them to you. And this is always a message that is timely in terms of what's going on in the world at the time, either locally or globally, whatever it is that they're wanting to talk about, and also a message that is timely specifically for you. I've also set the intention that if you find this video, it is meant for you. So if you're watching this right now, it's because on some level you're meant to, and you're meant to find it and receive it at this time. And then the second half of this experience is always going to be taking you through some sort of integration or release or shifting of your own energy with whatever the message brought up within you, whatever it is that you're supposed to create awareness around with inside of that message. They're wanting to guide you from the awareness into the integration of it. So this is a really beautiful series where you're both receiving knowledge and perspective and guidance, and then you're being led and guided and shown what to do with it. And that second part of the puzzle tends to be something that we either avoid doing in our work in on the spiritual journey in our personal development practice because either we don't know how to or we're very subtly avoiding feeling whatever is here. And so it was really important to me to create some sort of an experience to provide wisdom and also show you what to do with it because that's ultimately the most important part is how are you applying it to you and how are you integrating it inside of you and your life and your energy. And so that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. So what I like to do after this spiel is I like to close my eyes and just tune in with the guides, see what they want to say, and then relay that message to you. So tends to come through in waves. So it's kind of I tune in, see what they want to say, express it, tune back in, and then very slowly the message develops. So just give me a moment and I'll tune in and I'll see where they want to guide us today. Okay. So immediately, and I had a feeling this was going to be the case today. This might be either a challenging time in your life, a challenging time globally, or the message is going to have a degree of understanding how to navigate challenge that you might be moving through personally. And the image that they're showing me is rocky waters in the ocean. And I think that this has several different meanings. One, we're going to be diving deep today into the rocky waters beneath, inside of you. And also, we're going to be navigating chaotic, rocky, emotional turmoil that you might be experiencing or that you might be witnessing um, the collective experiencing at the time that you're viewing this message. Something that I feel is important to relay to you about me personally is I tend to feel things quite deeply. And so I'm sensing that there's going to be a lot of emotion coming up for me inside of this message to you. So, one, I just want to apologize for that if that feels uncomfortable for you to watch or listen to or receive. And two, the reason why I'm feeling it is because that's I'm both feeling the energy that you might be experiencing or the energy of the collective through this message. And it just feels like a lot. And so they're telling me to be patient as that comes through me because there's going to be a lot for me to be um, processing as this comes through. So I just wanted to relay that to you. And that message, thank you. That message then extends to you too, to please be patient as you're listening to this, as you're experiencing your own feelings come up inside of this as well. And they're also just saying, if it doesn't feel like you have the capacity to fully take this in at this specific moment in time, that's okay. You don't have to. They're saying that this is a message that's meant to come to you at this time, but it's up to you to determine when you want to actually sit and receive it. So there's no rush and there's no harm or shame in waiting until you're ready. Okay. So I've noticed a pattern in the last few videos within this Guided and Grounded series. And it seems like they always start by taking me to a specific chakra in the body, which kind of tends to tie in the theme of the message that's coming through. And today it seems like they're taking me down to the root. It seems like it's a combination of solar plexus, sacral, and root. And just to specifically state what that means in case you're not familiar with the different chakras, the chakras are just the energy centers of the body, and they tend to be associated with different feelings. The solar plex chakra is located in the stomach area, and that's associated with personal power and self-worth. The sacral chakra the sacral chakra is in the pelvic area, and that's associated with stability, personal power again, a sense of self, um, elements of the divine feminine and the ability to hold and receive love and care and nurturing. And then the root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and it's associated with safety, personal safety, and personal identity and a sense of self, how rooted we feel inside of ourselves and our reality. And they're focusing on those three areas because there's going to be a link inside of this message between what you might be experiencing in your personal life, what you might be witnessing in the world around you, and also how that makes you feel inside of who you are and how that presses on belief systems that you hold around how you see you and how you feel inside of who you are and how grounded and safe and empowered you might feel or not feel because of all that. Okay. So they're going right to the root chakra and they're lighting it up. And as I'm speaking, they're asking you to close your eyes as you're listening to this. It seems like this might be a combination of message and experience today at once. They want you to close your eyes right now. If you don't have the ability to do that, I suggest pausing this recording and coming back to it when you have the spaciousness to do that. because it's very important that they're saying it's important for you to hear this and feel it inside of you at the same time. Okay. So they want you to close your eyes and focus on the area where your root chakra is. It's at the base of your spine, right between your legs, in the sex center of the body. And they want you to just tune into that area and just become aware of the energy there, of the space there. And notice as you're closing your eyes and as you're focusing in, rather than focusing on me, now you're turning your attention in and focusing on you. And your awareness is now placed inside of you and inside of your own body. And they want you to notice any heavy sinking feeling that you might not have been aware of or that you might have been avoiding that is there right now. Any feelings that are coming up for you that have been at play in your life that have been leading you to a sinking, heavy despair. And they just want you to sit with that. This is not a time right now of avoiding what's here. It's a time of acknowledging what's here and allowing what's here. Because how often are you giving yourself permission to allow what's within you and who you are to be okay and allowed to be? And they want you to recognize that when you don't allow who you are and what's present within you space to be felt and allowed and acknowledged, you are denying a part of who you are. And that is affecting how you feel. And then by proxy, it's affecting your entire energy system. And when your root chakra is dysregulated because you're disallowing who you are to be okay. And by okay, I mean what is. You're disallowing you to be whatever it is that you are in that moment. Your sense of self becomes distorted. And this creates a cause and effect energetically inside of your system, where the energy that you're feeling is one of wanting to escape who you are and not allowing who you are. And the heaviness that you're feeling is that it's a self-denial, it's a self-rejection. And you're also sensing those same energies in the people, places, and things around you too, because you are just open to what's here. And what's here is the denial of sense of self. So you are not only opening to that within who you are, but you're opening up to that in all of the energy around you too. And that's what you're feeling inside of you. That's what you're sensing around you. And that's what you are making room for in your life. And they just want you to be here with you, with them in this moment, recognizing that that might be going on for you and forgiving yourself for creating that experience. Because it's the forgiveness of your innocence that's needed, that's wanted by you. And just breathing and owning that this might have been taking place inside of you and around you, and forgiving yourself for that, for being afraid to feel the heaviness that's here. Because why would you want to feel the heaviness that's here? That's so human of you. And they just want you to recognize immediately when you shift from disallowing to allowing, when you shift from shaming and judging and rejecting your experience, whatever it is, to being allowing of it, to be forgiving of you, how that shifts the experience itself. And if you're feeling just some sort of lightness come in along with the heaviness, and there might be a release that needs to take place first, maybe some emotion needs to be expended first, felt and released in order for this relief to come in. I get the sense that many of you are holding back, choking down a lot of that emotion right now, and that's okay. You might want to listen to this again, and maybe the second time through, you'll be more allowing of that to come up. Maybe you weren't expecting to have to experience this right now or today. And so coming back to this when you're ready and willing to feel what's here. But I get the sense that many of you are not ready to. And they just want you to recognize that and be totally okay with that. I'm sensing maybe some anger and having this reflected to you, some annoyance. And just breathe through that. I'm just mirroring what's here. It can be challenging to be mirrored our own desire to withhold from what it is that's deeply wanted. And that's okay. They want you to pay attention to whatever this experience is bringing up for you. And if it's annoyance, if it's anger, if it's judgment, that's just what you've learned in order to further deny the experience that you've been taught to judge, which is in some sort of emotional experience, feeling what's here and forgiving your desire to. Because perhaps for some of you, I get the sense many of you, you've been taught that that's not productive, that it's a sign of weakness, that you don't have time or space or energy to sit and feel that, and that it's a better use of your energy and your time to just move on, disregard, get by. And if you don't have to look at it and it doesn't get in the way of your day, then why would you take the time to? And they just want you to sit and breathe into whether or not that might be true, what that might be bringing up for you in terms of what you were taught, recognizing where you might have learned those coping mechanisms, and forgiving the innocent part of you that has wanted to or has unknowingly taken those belief systems on and way of coping as your own. And noticing that on some level it has worked because you've been able to get by, but on a different level, that heaviness is still here. And you can avoid it, but if you take the time to slow down, you feel it. And if what you're wanting to feel is something different, then giving yourself permission to be who you are, and that means feeling what's here and now and allowing that experience to take place inside of you and to be okay, not seeing as a weakness, not seeing it as ineffective or inefficient. And also being okay, feeling seen inside of it. Because right now, maybe some of the discomfort that you're feeling is that you're being recognized inside of it. You're not hiding it as well as you thought you could. And the shame of feeling what's here is also coming up that you haven't been able to hide as well as you thought you could. And they're just saying, forgive. Forgive these patterns, these coping mechanisms of avoidance and shame and judgment. Forgiving me in this moment for making you face this when you may not have expected to or wanted to, anticipated doing that. Forgive them for forcing you to sit and feel and recognize and be reminded of what's here. And forgive the experience of you that you're currently having that you have felt that you've needed to avoid. They're saying forgiveness is the key for you right now because forgiveness is going to bring in compassion. Compassion is going to bring in levity, and levity is what you're hoping to feel. Just take a moment and forgive and notice where there might be resistance to that too. They want you to now notice the way that you may have resisted the idea of forgiveness and how I feel like some of you are letting that in, really, really letting that in, which is beautiful. And knowing how the experience has shifted for you when you chose to do that instead. If you felt an immediate sort of lightness come in or release of tension, and they want you to recognize moving forward from this experience, where you might be witnessing the desire or the resistance of forgiveness in the people, places, and things around you, and how what you just witnessed, the grappling that you may have witnessed taking place within you, where you might see that being reflected in the world around you, and how what you're seeing reflected around you is just a mirror for what's going on both inside of you and inside of everybody that you can see around you. And that we're all moving through this same inner conflict, inner turmoil, and rocky waters of both wanting to feel differently and also resisting the experience itself of feeling differently. And that there is at some point a choice that needs to be made in each and every single one of us to feel differently. It's a choice that we have to make. We're not going to feel differently unless we choose to. And that they're saying is a really difficult thing to hear and receive because it requires us to take ownership of how we're feeling. And taking personal responsibility can be very uncomfortable. And they want you to witness where you might be still resisting that choice. And if you're resisting that choice, can you really blame others for also resisting that choice? Can you see how challenging making that choice can be and how it takes time and how you really have to be willing to choose it? And that for a lot of us, this is a process of choosing it over and over and over again. And the more we do it, the easier it becomes because the ego doesn't fight back as hard. There's a defense system there that we have to gradually and slowly break down. And that takes time. And we have to be patient, patient inside of ourselves, going back to the message at the beginning of this video, and patient amongst each other when we both witness that same resistance taking place in other people. Oh, okay. I understand what that feels like now because I had that same experience too. I just have to be patient with them, and they may not be ready and willing yet to feel differently, to feel lighter because they're not ready to choose forgiveness. Is there anything else you'd like them to know? That's it. They're saying thank you so much for giving them the space to take you through this today. And they're also congratulating you for being willing to sit through this because they know how uncomfortable it is. They are really encouraging you to face some darkness today, some darkness that you may not have realized is existing inside of you. And that can bring up a lot of shame and judgment of you and your experience. And that is part of the growth, they're saying, is avoiding who you are and what's here, then recognizing who you are and what's here, but judging it and being ashamed of it. And then being willing to choose forgiveness. And then once you make that choice, you can continue to make it over and over and over again. And the ego stops fighting back. And the ego starts embracing the experience of compassion and love where it previously denied it, because that's what it was modeled. That's just what it was being modeled. It's not your fault. It's just the energy that you were born into and that you were taught or that you somehow took on as yours. But it's not a problem. It's the journey that you asked for. Otherwise, you wouldn't be experiencing it. You'd be experiencing something else. And they also want you to notice how recognizing this journey is the very thing that is teaching you how to choose something different. How would you know how to choose love if you were never given an experience to choose it? If all you ever experienced was love, then you wouldn't know how to choose love, but you were asking for and asked to learn how. And you have to be willing to recognize the struggle and the unwillingness to choose something different first. And now you're seeing that there is a choice here that needs to be made, and that there's a learning process in choosing it, in letting it in. And that is the gift that the struggle is giving you. It's the gift of learning how to choose and learning how to open yourself up to a different experience of you. And inside of that choice, repeatedly over and over and over again, you get to have a full spectrum of experiences rather than just one. And isn't that what source consciousness is attempting to experience and express through you? You as source itself want to experience as many different things as you can. That's what you came here for. That's why you're choosing to experience the illusion of separation so that you can have that experience, something that's different from what you really are. And what a beautiful thing to see that inside of this earth experience, you have the gift of choice. You have the gift to choose how you want to experience and express this version of you, where your, source consciousness, your soul self doesn't get to have that experience in the same way. They had to experience it through you in order to. Is there anything else you'd like them to know today? No, they're saying that's everything. They're saying that's all they want to leave you with for today. Take a second, take a deep breath. This might not have been what you were expecting. Something that they're wanting to remind you is that this spiritual journey is not always one of love and light. It is one is of facing what we label as the darkness within. And sometimes it's icky because we're faced with our own judgment, our own shame. And that's what they wanted to reflect back to you today is it's time to look at it, man. It's time to look at it. It's time to witness it. It's time to be allowing of it, but see it as separate from you. Like it's just a learned reaction. It's not who you are. And once you can start to identify that you're having that experience and that you can choose something different, you'll stop getting caught up in it and identified with it and allowing it to run your life and living unconsciously in that energy. And I'm okay with being the bad guy and reflecting that to you in the meantime. All right. Thank you so much for joining me inside of this experience today. I've really enjoyed this series so far. And as always, I would love to hear your feedback, your reflections of what this was like for you. I get the feeling that for some of you, this might require some reflection before you know how you feel about it. And that's okay too. Take your time with it. This might have been a new, uncomfortable realization and something that requires time to process. And they're just saying, yes, everybody has to take some time and process this. Um, Great. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week for the next one. Bye.